Hello everybody, and welcome to part 5 of the suboptimal run. Okay, so first order of business here. Gotta go through the obligatory slideshow here. I know, we're doing the slideshow thing again. You may notice it's not exactly particularly animated this time. That'll happen. Okay, so first off, we went into this one starting with Dagon Fight. Fairly basic on this one. Actually, so this one can be fairly easy depending on how stuff goes. But I was a little bit surprised that when it came to Brezn in particular, Bayan actually ended up completely rocking him this time around. So while the rest of everybody was just kind of fiddling around down here waiting for the leader to come down, we were kind of getting whatever kills were possible. Eustacia, as usual, just sitting there, just Captain America-ing it pretty much all the time now. But yeah, despite the fact that we were having some initial difficulties with everybody that was down there, aside from just putting some people to sleep, yeah, Bayan pretty much won this fight for us, so nothing particularly special going on there. I will say it's technical issues, despite, with what's going on with the picture here today. Whatever, we're just rolling with it. I'll have this fixed by next time, but you know what, I got a brief window here. So surprisingly, Petro Breath, we were doing pretty good on that. We didn't really run into that issue too many times. I was hoping to have, some Beast Slayer or something like that available by this point, but no. And so there we go. Bayan got the kill. Went and got us some more items. We can't really use most of these yet, but they're there if we ever need them. Way of the Gergis, we're not gonna ever be able to use that one. And so we met up with Volkert, and he's like, "Yeah, we should probably take this boat." And seems like it's kind of impossibly sticking out of the water, but we'll ignore that little detail. At which point he's like, "Hey, they got your girlfriend," and immediately his response is, "Oh crap! Well, time to go throw everybody's missions away. We got to get over there." And yeah, sure enough, he's definitely gonna want to send them all over there. Now, what he doesn't realize is that, yeah, we're absolutely gonna take this extra mission. You know what? We already saved her the first time. Why the hell shouldn't we save her a second time? Sistina does kind of, I apologize. Kashua does have a point here, though. Seriously, that is just beyond cold. I mean, at this point, they've kind of lost everybody in terms of friends. I mean, they might as well stick to whoever they've got. So, went into the next fight, well, a little bit unsure, to be totally honest. They're obviously both the helpers survived at this point, so that definitely helps, but it's an uphill fight, going straight the way up to the top of the fort here. And, ideally I was hoping to be able to spare her as well. But either way, moving on, he goes ahead and gives her the offer here, and for some reason she doesn't buy it. It makes no sense. Honestly, this part always kind of confused me a little bit, because you get a group that suddenly shows up out of nowhere like, no, you totally just showed up here on accident and just happened to know the name of a person we captured that is really of no actual value to us whatsoever. We're gonna keep them instead! Time to fight to the death. So basically, she somehow already got the news of her husband. That's kind of the justification for why she wants to go ahead with the fight. Kashua ends up taking some shots here. This guy is, this Griffin here is named after a computer. Go figure. Not really. Moving on. I was hoping to actually recruit the Griffin, but it turns out her units are very, very loyal, actually. So Canopus just kind of fighting his way up the hill here. We got, a few little kills wherever we could get him on the way up there. Casual got eaten by a Griffin. Kind of feel bad for the Griffin's stomach, to be honest. It's probably a little bit upset now. So we got into a little bit of a stalemate here on the middle here, because we couldn't really push anyone through. They were blocking up the stairs. Canopus was the only one that could make his way up there. I kept trying to use Subdue. It wasn't getting anywhere. My initial plan going into this one was to capture a Griffin, have him go do the actual fighting, and no such luck, unfortunately. So, worked our way through. Bayan just sitting there taking hit after hit after hit, and the middle entirely collapsed. This was definitely not going well, but we still had plenty of options on hand. So I figured we got Denim back up on his feet in order to throw the celerity over on Canopus here. So we're going to use our scroll on him, because I figure at some point he will be able to get access to some kind of casting abilities, so we might as well safely use it on him. Canopus decides to run a little bit faster, However, you might notice a little plan coming together, because with Veldre coming down the middle, it seemed pretty much a sure thing that, yeah, she got herself stuck in our little gap there, stuck between our best sword fighter and unconscious sword fighter and Canopus. So at this point, unfortunately, Canopus got himself 8. You know, these things happen. Like, oh, go save Sistina, and this is fine, honestly, because, yeah, we already have a perfectly good spellcaster, we don't need another one. Alright, at this point, we get a Dark Weight on Veldre. It ends up getting her health down a decent bit, but yeah, at that point, Volkert decided to use the, well, the worst possible use for a Phalanx. I just had to take a screenshot of this one in particular because, oh my god, the AI is so dumb sometimes. Like, what? All the melee units got by already. Let me go ahead and block the archers. Anyway, so yeah, she admits that they're completely screwed here, and then she says, hey, got babies though, so maybe spare us. And then she lasers Canopus, and that doesn't work out so well. So I figure, okay, you know what? There's a Rending Gale here. I could technically finish the fight, but I want to try to get the spare ending. Well, that's not what ended up happening. So you may notice that this is a Eustacia that's about to take the swing here, and it's actually Denim that got the kill. What I was hoping for was that she would run over, she gets the kill on, I think it was like a Birdman, or no, the Rune Fencer over there. So I had her take out the Rune Fencer, so in order to hopefully bide some time for Veldre to get her turn. And it has to be both Denim and Veldre that get their turn, but at that point it just sort of became clear that, okay, the only guy that's going to be surviving until the next round is currently sitting there pretending to be a statue, so screw it, whatever, we're just accepting this ending. And then she turned into a bag. Alright, so we got a shift zone. Well, we got a few shift zones. We're probably never going to use those. I got a silver, got a hallowing, as you do, and got more levels. So we're still at levels 6 to 9. We are reaching the end of Chapter 2 here. And so she's like, hey, man, this is pretty cool. I got saved twice, so that's dandy. And, you know, Folkert's happy to have his unrequited girlfriend back. And, yeah, she's like, hey, but what about everybody else, though? So, you know, everybody died. Their whole group died. Their whole little faction is pretty much dead aside from those two. And Cashra decides to take this moment to say, hey, you guys suck. We're taking this boat now. And, yeah, so, he decides to go introduce them to his enemies. Fair enough. They're all just kind of going on saying that they'll totally understand once they get there. It's more along the lines of they're hoping that maybe a fresh set of eyes might fix their their dumb plan. Anyway, so at this point, gave some different equipment to all these people. We've got a good bit of Balder that came in from Folkert and Sistina, as well as I had to reassign Strengthen. Or I forget if it was either Rampart or Strengthen or something. Either way, I had to get rid of Phalanx. That crap had to go. Suboptimus switched over to Teratology, because I was hoping, you know, maybe that would be enough to eventually get that recruitment working well enough. Subdue so far has not helped us very much, and I really want to be able to use it. And then I realized that we've unlocked familiars as a class, though we've never actually gotten a familiar, which is just kind of funny. Largely this is because a lot of the classes that fairies and people share, for whatever reason, also had like a shared pool of skills, which you can't technically get people familiars, but I would assume that's why the familiar unlocks when you get the class mark instead of when you get a unit. They're one of the few exceptions on that as far as I'm aware. It's not really here or there, it's just kind of funny. Alright. So then we moved on to the Dagon Fight, and, you know, he's kind of wondering what you're doing there, and he's decided that this is a fantastic way to get a payday. Why he was just sort of standing around with his entire troop is anyone's guess, but either way. This hippopotamus disguised as a golem is kind of in the way here. And what I decided to do was have the rogue and the Amazon kind of just try to get some weapons training over here on the right side, trying to see if they can work on their skills a little bit. And at the same time, the plan was to put everybody to sleep and move forward with whoever we had on hand. This is just a wizard that's at the end of this fight, so nothing too insane. So started trying to break through the middle there with two of the heavy hitters. Dagon was already taking some hits from Canopus, so, you know, this didn't seem like it would be too much of a challenge. So we went ahead and, you know, kept this plan stable for the time being. Sistina's still being pretty good as far as spellcasters go. Usually hybrid casters are not really too much of a thing, but here we go. Decided to kind of double down on Paul's high evasion and vitality and everything to try to have him evasion tank at the front there. Unfortunately, his weapon is pretty out of date at this point, so he's having a hard time getting past defenses, but sure enough, we worked our way forward. Eventually, the golems around the sides will tend to get themselves stuck in the middle. You can usually get the ninja trap down there as well. So most of your issue comes around just trying to walk around all of those rampart auras and actually make it to Dagon. I mean, pretty much everybody's got Canopus, so the most obvious answer is just to fly him back there and keep on plinking away. It's not a particularly super difficult fight, though he does come with a bunch of extra skills in this one. Alright. So yeah, he does hit pretty hard as well, nearly two-shotting Paul over there. We end up losing our ninja. Oh well, these things happen. So end up one-shotting their healer, because, you know, Canopus is Canopus. Again, I just want to point out, it's not like his stats are super crazy or anything. This is purely situational. It's not that he scales crazy high or whatever else. His scaling is fairly minimal, especially with the stuff that he starts off with. The only thing crazy about him is that he gets access to finishers before other people, which basically just means he's always a little bit ahead, meaning he's pretty much ignoring armor more than, you know, scaling past defenses or whatever. It's just kind of a neither here nor there thing, but just kind of found it interesting. Alright, so Burnden, the very average but still technically running around with a finisher guy, is trying to push his way forward as he does. We end up getting the Berserker up to Dagon, and, well, he ends up getting his hit, but unfortunately the Berserker ends up getting taken out. So the backup plan was to have the Dragoon finish him off. So she was circling around the side, taking a bunch of intense hits. Meanwhile, everybody else is just kind of still working on skills. Now, it became clear that with her crossbow, she wasn't really going to be doing very much damage to him. So it wasn't enough to be finishing him off anytime soon, so she went and dropped a Breach in order to combine with Canopus, who is starting to take some pretty decent hits at this point. And they start losing more healers, as you do. So their healer goes down, crossbow's suddenly doing more damage to him. He's starting to get fairly low. They don't really have any sources of healing left at this point. Canopus going in for those bigger hits, and as the guide says, you know, loves putting axes into the back of people's heads for some reason. At which point he basically mentions, hey, you know, I was really only here for the 30 grand because my kid was sick. Again, one of these things I'll keep bringing up, that I'm waiting for Rakes to add to One Vision, because I want an option to be able to just pay this guy off, because it just feels bad, man. Moving on. We get a couple more healing spells here, so an anti-poison, and I don't know what the hell the other one is. Probably something interesting, but I don't know. At which point, we've got our classes on 7s to 9s at this point, except for the ones that we don't have, but we don't have them, so we can't have them, so you get the point. Alright, so we get some new skills across the board for the party. This guy decides to threaten us with a short bow. That's just terrifying. And yeah, is it really any wonder these guys lose in every route? So she's a little bit pissed off about the fact that apparently we've been satellite tracked by Lotus to their base. And, yeah, says that she's disowning her family because she wants rank, as you do. Though I still think canonically Saria and Denim do make a fairly obvious couple, more so than Olivia, but hey, whatever works. And so yeah, their basic plan is go assassinate the Duke right after they've beaten the Galgastani, basically leaving the place with a gigantic power vacuum, and they're more or less just rolling the dice and hoping something good happens. That is a stupid plan, but moving on. So they start trying to get this plan into motion right away, which will absolutely not end with the deaths of pretty much everyone. Alright. Anywho, so yeah, she makes everyone feel bad for the fact that they missed the chance to carry out that plan earlier. Justina going in here saying that she wants to not be going on a murder frenzy. So she ends up joining us now, so fantastic. Now, I don't really need another Valkyrie. I've got a really good one already, is the thing. But whatever, we'll just sort of figure it out as we go. They've got slightly higher stats, and they've got some skills on them, so I can kind of keep them in the back row. Alright, so then we get to the penultimate, kind of, well, not really penultimate. Well, I guess kind of penultimate. It's penultimate-ish fight of Chapter 2, at which point we get to the Zapan ambush. And, yeah, Then a trap happens, and so for the first attempt, I figured, okay, I'm just going to try to bum rush him here, and all things are going to be great, and there's a lot of dialogue, and okay, there's a lot of words here. We're on a time constraint, though, so moving on. So the first time through, I tried to just go and fight him directly, and it does not go well. I mean, he literally eats like 3 crits and gets knocked way back here. It was very, very far from ideal, at which point he gets crit again, at which point another guy hits him for like a 25% or something, I think with yet another crit. Like, it was intensely dumb. So we end up having very few actual ways to hurt the guy, because Zapan is fairly tough, so I tried getting Suboptimus back on his feet. I tried making some headway down the middle here, but it was clear for this first attempt that it was pretty much not going to happen, just off incredibly insane RNG on that one. I've never seen a fight start with something like 5 crits. Well, I say never. It's rare. It's exceedingly rare. Anyway, so I decided to come back with a recruit. This time, I decided somebody else can be the animal tamer. We really need his high-rank recruit going on. I say high-rank, he's like 14% up from rank 1. Whatever, he'll eventually reach rank 2. Moving on. So I start off the fight, getting a breach off. Figure, okay, maybe we'll get something done there. Once again, take an absolute pile of crits. Not sure what's going on with that, but apparently I pissed off RNGs that day. End up getting a crit in return, though, which is pretty nice, but unfortunately we can't really follow that up with much. So Denim gets knocked out. He ends up running, retreating, and healing. His people end up hitting him with band-aids. And so I figure, okay, we're going to send the Knight, the Terror Knight, and the Valkyrie up the middle. They're going for a mad dash while everybody else tries to distract. And so that's exactly what we did. We have the big guys getting put to sleep over here on the right side by the world's most reliable Enchantress. We have Voltaire running up to try and just tank hits and keep everybody distracted. Thankfully, we did pretty good. I think it was like maybe 70% or so of those sleeps that ended up hitting. Ended up using a chariot to drop a breach on him. At that point, I figured, okay, if we destroy his defense and get a Frighten on him, then a Rending Gale would be enough to do the job. Unfortunately, Paul does not make it all the way over there because he ends up getting tag-teamed, and then Eustacia eventually loses her fight, so that plan does not end up working out too well. So, we tried the same plan again, though this time, the plan was to do it a little bit smarter. See, the problem was that he was getting out of range. So what I did, I moved Suboptimus slightly to the left, ended up getting I was kind of just throwing this recruit out there. This guy didn't really make or break the fight or anything. This was just a really lucky roll. So we ended up getting this random guy with a friggin' throwing javelin, which, by the way, fun note, if you use your throwing javelin, you recruit them, it shows that they're holding a javelin, but you get no javelins in your inventory. They show up with a 0 javelin. It's depressing. Anywho, so yeah, the healer ends up taking some nasty hits over there. Once again, Denim ends up getting steamrolled by crits. I think they were just starting this on a super unlucky day or something. I don't know. I forgot to check. But pretty much no matter what, he just kept getting pancaked. So here we are. And anyway, the Berserkers trying to be part of that charging team this time. We've got Canopus moving up there, and what I wanted to do was block him off with Canopus and get all of the other finishers dropped on Zapan. They keep getting all of these stuns going all over the place. We keep getting a few more units getting down on the ground, but the RNG is not quite as nice on the Sleeps landing this time. There's some Innervates out there. Canopus ends up taking some hits. Looking at his anatomy, this is probably why he's so dang tanky, because he's getting a pretty decent defense bonus. She keeps running around, throwing around poison. It's just plain inconsiderate. So many of our units are getting downed over and over and over, and this time instead of Voltaire, I end up bringing in Fulkert, who turns out can do a pretty nice meaty bit of damage. So anyhow, Zapan decides to go do a little bit of monologuing, do a little bit of alluding to other timelines, because, this one's pretty on the nose. They're like, oh man, if something had gone different, I totally might be working under you. Yeah, you totally would. Anyway, if you saved him. So, Berserker guy goes down, and then it turns out, yeah, Voltaire never gets a chance to throw out that finisher, because here comes Eustacia. Now, I forget exactly what it was. But yeah, somehow she's actually doing more damage than Voltaire at this point, so whatever, that's fine. I was checking to see if he had a breach on him, but no. Thankfully, Canopus had landed the weighted shot earlier, which put Leaden on Zapan, which basically took this from about, I think, like 60% something, whatever, to 100. And so, yeah, that was the big deciding factor. It was freaking Leaden plus a Rending Gale. So, Barbas decides to go curb stomp Rhyme as you do. We have our good old Lands and Barbas meme, and there we go. He decides to go try to 1v1 the guy in the middle of a war. It goes fantastically. We get a custom animation that looks really weird if you look at it still framed, and yeah, he just kind of sneaks off. Gildas decides to come up and shield bash him. Funnily enough, this shield, as far as I've checked, there's a few cases where you'll see a unit use a particular weapon in that particular fight. Most of the time, they'll actually use a weapon appropriate to whatever level it is that the fight would have scaled with. Which is, like, for example, if you see what's his face, Diebold, like in his fight, he'll end up swapping out what sword he swings around. This guy swaps out the shield that he's bashing around. Because I think I've seen him use a Balder. Right now he's using a tower, which is level appropriate. Anyway, moving on. So, at that point, he gets poisoned. Erner! And then we run into Savarion. Alright. And there we are. So, he ends up joining us with his dang 0 Javelin. As you can see here, we didn't actually end up getting a Javelin, despite the fact that he came with one, because he technically threw the only one that was there. It's weird, but it is what it is. So, Folkert gets access to Recruit, and I think that's the end of our... Alright, people. Here we are. So let's look over this team here real quick. This team of absolute champions. Do we have, by any chance, anything to equip on this guy? No, so we're still down to 3 pieces of jewelry among the entire team. But yes, the unofficial terrifying noob trap of Tactics Ogre here. This map ends up screwing up so many runs for folks, and it's the dudes come back to bite us thing. And yeah. Rhyme gets owned, and at the same time, they're like, hey, guess what? Your dude's here, and they're gonna come back and get us. And, man. They're like, oh yeah, the one guy that would have helped you, he already left. Though it's kind of implied that he knew what was coming here, and he just kind of, like, ditched him. He's like, well, everyone wants to assassinate him. Dude's a dick. Alright. Actually, wait, it's the cutscene after this for the other one. Alright, so this fight has 2 objectives that you gotta do. And let's see, do we have any limitations on people? Kinda, sorta. Okay, so we got a Beast Tamer here. He's gonna be up in front. I need him recruiting people. He's gonna try to circle around the right side. She needs to put monsters to sleep. He needs to try and fly backwards. Get some harassment going. She needs to bait the big guys down. These 3 need to be taking big hits. You should have some kind of skill on you, right? Beast Slayer? Okay, you're going to be completely worthless here. We've got Morlo, and we've got a Lyn. Do we have any other units? Do we have a warrior on the team already? No. So we get... Oh, wait, we can't have... We gotta sacrifice somebody. Nah. Okay, so... That's kind of whatever. We don't really have anyone else that we can put out there. What is your deal? You're a Rune Fencer. Okay, so we can take you out of the team. So, yeah. I guess that we're just rolling with the same team then. Fair enough. And if the sound is a little bit different today, I hope it's not scuffed, because it was just kind of randomly messed up the other day. But anyway, okay, so, this fight, right? So here's the deal. This fight has 2 objectives. You have to either... Well, technically speaking, if you take out Rhymedos, you win the fight, full stop. If you take out Zapan, then the AI changes a little bit for whatever reason. I don't know exactly how it changes. But basically, as long as Rhymedos goes, the fight's done. So what we have to do is... Thankfully, in this version, they don't have the dragons. In one of the versions of this fight, it's nighttime and they've got dragons with them. This is actually one of the reasons that when it comes to games like Last Raven, I'm a bit more critical towards that one in particular, because they do a very similar kind of thing, but they do it in a really, really dull way. Alright, so they're going to go ahead and try to do their healy heals back there. Oh, by the way, to answer one question that's come up inexplicably often lately, as far as emulator settings, I am not using an emulator. This is entirely off of a Vita. I actually, technically, I got my, don't know if you can hear the clackety-clacks over here, but I got the old PSP 2000 fixed up, finally. I actually got a couple of them fixed up, and technically speaking, I was originally thinking about going and trying a run off of one of those, because you technically can stream off of them. It's a little slower, but, you know, you could make the argument for legitness there. But the thing is, yeah, for some reason, despite it being on the official list of supported things for the the thing that basically streams off the PSP to the PC, it doesn't work. Crap's broken. Not sure why. Alright. So here's what do. I need the squishies to avoid those knights as much as possible. Actually, are those the guys that come with finishers? I don't believe they do normally. Yeah, they do have finishers. Okay, so you're a one-hander, you're an axer. Okay, he would be the better one to recruit. Let's see what their loyalty's at. Cold Eyes and Discontent. Oh, man. Happy times. Alright, so we put the squishies back a little bit. The goal is to try to entice the knights to go into the middle of the group and get the sword guy beaten down, and go ahead and transfer him towards Rainbows here. That'd be the very ideal. This actually would be a fantastic time to try and make use of... barricades. But I don't believe I have those with me right now. So, okay, we're going to try to put her to sleep. Her weapon's not going to be as good. Her defense isn't likely... it might be okay. But there we go. We'll get her to sleep. I want her working on the archers, more or less. We're going to have problems for sure when it comes to those... when it comes to Zapan, actually. He's going to be the biggest issue. Alright, so I want him to take some hits, I want her to take a breach. Usually the AI won't bother dealing with breach very often. Once they get access to ease and it's something available, then they'll deal with it, but that's pretty much the only time they'll care. Alright, so at this point, let's move you here. Can deal a 1 on you, can deal a 7 on you, it's something. I would really, really like to have some kind of trick arrows, but unfortunately they are not going to be something that we're going to get without a... well, without a store, so, oh well. Alright, so that's not bad damage against that guy. Like I said before, all we really have to deal with is Ramdos, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to avoid Zapan entirely. If we can get a decent enough amount of damage on her, come on, roll it. Did not roll it. That's a shame. But we've got several squishies here to soak some damage for us. They'll start off by soaking the archers. Let's get a wine on you if we can. That's an unfortunate stumble. Alright. Right, okay. By any chance, is this a 2-tile? Yes, it is. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and de-stun him. I'm going to have her move forward. Ideally try to get some damage on Rhymedos if she can. I was going to see about rolling a hit against the knight, but that's going to be a bad choice. It's only a 50-50. That's fine, actually, as long as he doesn't crit. Okay, perfect. What kind of healing do we do? Not very much. Okay. You go forward. Have we picked up any cards that will give Strengthen by any chance? No, but True Strike. Okay. Gonna put True Strike on her. This might be a little bit too much because the caster is not very likely to dodge, but I want to be absolutely certain. Okay, good. We've gotten the knight out of the way. The caster is not able to run out of the way of what we've got available here, and that is excellent, actually. We lost our napper, but oh well. It is what it is. Okay, so he's going to go after Canopus. That is, once again, just fine, actually. Are you able to counter... Okay, I want this guy to get countered. I know that seems dumb, and apparently it was. Okay. So, what we're going to do is we're going to throw a heal out on Canopus. And we're going to leave the healer back here, because once again, I want them baited backwards. They're going to be out of range for debuffs for now. Poison, I hope, will not have enough time to actually take effect. So, okay, this is coming together. She is a very fast caster, though. I believe her RT is like... I want to say she's like half turn faster than everybody else, so she is deceptively fast for an old lady. As you may have noticed, she went forward, she attacked, and she retreated before there was much of a chance to do anything. Okay, so, what we're gonna do is... Okay, we're gonna have to use her to go this way. Yeah, let's try to block off Zapan here. Because I need Canopus getting turns, and it's not really gonna do very well if he's over here getting repeatedly stunned. Would be nice to get stun proof or stun ward or something, but oh well. Okay, 44 with that, 48 with that. Okay, so we're gonna go here, we're gonna take a little bit of a snipey snipe. She does have 2 healers, but, you know, our goal is to try and overwhelm here. This is kind of plan A. The plan B approach is a little bit different, but I feel like this, under the right circumstances, can work. I think the big issue on this one so far was using Meditate earlier on, but oh well. Alright, you take a quick turn. These guys need to not be attacking unless it's on her. Okay, and you Stacia as well. Partial issue, though, is we're seeing a whole lot of this nonsense right here, where they're getting a whole lot of stuns. Alright, if it was any percent, I would have taken it. That's not really gonna happen. We're really burning through our Xenowines here. Oh well. Oh well, as they say. Now, if they end up getting behind that line, we're screwed and we can't make it happen. So I'm going to try to de-stun these guys as much as possible. But yeah, we can't really push through the line if she gets there, except with Canopus. And I don't think we're going to have enough time to make that happen. Block? No block. Worth a shot, worth a hope. It's pretty much an impossible dream, but hey, you know, one can wish, and it seems like our music has stopped here for a little bit, so let's have a little bit of awkward silence, and then the awesome continues. For anyone wondering, by the way, this is the air combat theme. Basically, it's Ace Combat 1, except it was before they figured out a name, so it was just air combat at that point. Alright. Now, can you go ahead and innervate you? Because she's going to be going down in one hit one way or the other. So I might as well make sure somebody else can take a turn. Let's go ahead and continue getting more baits going this way. In fact, he's got some points, so we'll go ahead and try to rob Dude Guy here. Funnily enough, action skills do not actually check whether or not you have stun, so can use them regardless. Now, if I could please get a few more turns, that'd be great. Yeah, their team is very odd, because they've got 4 slow guys up front and everybody else is pretty darn quick. The archers, I guess, are the second slowest, but yeah, Raimdos in particular is just zooming all over the place. Okay, Weaken is a massive problem. And, yeah, they're getting about 2 heals for every attack that we get. You can just imagine how fun this is going to be when we do this with one vision down the road. Alright, please stop rolling those 60% if you could, and they are just going to go ahead and nail them all. Okay, well, I guess 50% of them. But we're lining up. We are very much lining up here. Because she can't go very far, and especially once we get our ramparts going. What kind of skills do you have? Recruit? Well, that's not going to help us very much here. Oh, for crap's sake. Yeah, so she's going to go ahead and roll that. Just plain rude. Going to roll that 44, and we're getting some decent damage finally. She doesn't have any skills as of yet. We do. If we can maybe survive 2 more turns, then we can actually win this still. This is not impossible as of yet, but it's certainly trying to get there. Okay, going for Eustacia. Interesting. Oh, she's going for Folkert, oddly enough. Alright, whatever works, I suppose. Now, she's breached, so yeah, it's still better to go with the bow. Actually, a quick little check, because I believe the bow is always going to be faster here. Yeah, the bow is slightly faster. So we surround here. and then we get Denim in the last spot, and then if everybody gets one more turn, then we win. And then we're all set to go. Everybody's all well and dandy. They're busy chopping apart everybody that's left over on the sides here. Oh, this guy's so close to a finisher. And I would absolutely love to roll that chance. But it's impractical. If I try to roll that chance, it's pretty much guaranteed that he's going to die of poison before then. And we get the nice meaty crit. I'm going to not use Recruit, actually. Alright. What if... I wonder if we can maybe do something like this, because she actually, funnily enough, might be damageable by this. He's got very generic stats, so if we have some stuff that... oh, you know, we can end it right here. Okay. Now, hear me out. I know, this is going to be a waste of resources, and this might just not work at all, but I really want it to. Aw. Dang it. That would have been so cool. I was thinking she comes in here with the crossbow, he goes in there with the wop too, and you know, it's all well and dandy and everyone has a good time. I really want to, but I know it's a bad call. And I just rolled at 50%. Okay. So she'll go ahead and finish him off. The odds of us winning this are not awful right now. Let's go ahead and move you this way. Get any important heals going? Not really. We're 1 point off from being able to get some important heals. I think our best odds are going to be to heal up Marlowe down here so that he maybe can take 2 hits. I'm thinking Female Knight and Zapan on him. Oh, maybe not. Rudely went for the shield bash there. Now, just to double-check, as far as the AI's logic, I believe that's because the shield bash was enough to get the kill, yeah, while being a little bit faster to use. Okay. So what are you going to do? And he is going to get completely trounced. Okay, well, that is Marlowe. Now it is Marlowe as a pancake, as you do. So they're going to get both heals off, but I believe we've already checkmated this. I'm not... I don't know, I'm about, let's say, 70% sure. Because Canopus might go down, but he's not the main powerhouse right now. They can't really do very much to shut down Denim, and he's the one with the finisher built up at the moment. Especially if they've got Knights going off and throwing out Mend Leaves right now. So yeah, her whole reason here is just... the war happened, her sons died, and she decided that instead of retiring, well, it's time to go get in the war here. Fair enough. I mean, she's completely mistaken. She does admit that by the end of this. Alright, goes for the big hit, and that's going to take out Canopus right there. He's actually starting to drop off in terms of overall usefulness. It's really his flight that's the main thing right now. While everybody else is catching up with finishers, you know, well, both finishers and stats, he's starting to drop behind a little bit. So they're going to get the heal off. Probably she's going to be in about the 140-ish range. Alright. Thing's done. Now, he's not going to get another turn, so I'm just going to go ahead and use Recruit here just to try and level it up a little bit. You do still get points in these situations. Come on, crit it. That would have been nice. Alright, but that's it. There's nothing they can do. So she's going to get a hit there. She's going to take a counter with a crossbow. Not going to end up getting any points off that. And what we have here is an accuracy scaling finisher, ignoring some defense, getting boosted by the fact that her defense is actually boosting our damage at the moment. And yeah, that'll be 100-100. And goodbye to Rhymedos. See, I call her Rhymedos. I know it's Ramidos, but either way. She's like, oh, I didn't know. You hit me with an axe so hard I realized that I was being an idiot. And there she goes. So there you go. One of the most notorious maps for newer folks into the game, and it really is not so bad. It's just a matter of, you know, twisting the mechanics enough, so to speak. God, I love this challenge. It's so fun. You know what? I love these little puzzles. Like, I love stuff like this, where it's like, there shouldn't be a way for it to happen, but if you just kind of weasel your way in there, like a sneaky little bastard, you can make it work. Alright, got a Dragoon and Ninja to level up out of that. I think Suboptimus is going to be fine on his own for this next one. We'll go ahead and save it here. However long it's been since the last one. And I was actually going to think of it. How fast was that? Sorry, I'm looking at the other save here, because I was routing out a different... yeah, 2 hours by the end of Chapter 3. I was working on a different speedrun route to see if it might work, and I think it can. That one was pretty rough in terms of overall setup and everything else. So, you know, we'll see where that goes. I'll show that off if it actually ends up working out. What do we want to do here? Do we want to go Balder, maybe? It's slightly higher defense threshold, but we lose a little bit on power. I think we'll just roll it as it is right now. I want counter for sure. I think he's already got counter available. So we'll go ahead and throw that out there. Alright. So this is the Vyce 1v1. Morica Vyce and all that kind of thing. I mean, I should, you know what, I should absolutely use that as the title screen for this one. Or as the title card. It'd be pretty darn fun. And I know I point this out a lot, but yeah, it's kind of implied from here that Zapan decided he lost, he got mad, he tried to get busy with Kashua, and Vyce said, no, me first. So that's messed up. Anyway, let's get into the fight proper. So, they do some talking back and forth. I know I skipped some stuff, so we are 2 levels behind this guy. We are extraordinarily under-equipped, but let's see what happens. I think we're like 2 to 3 tiers behind on equipment. So, our finisher is going to do some stuff to him, but what we're going to want to do is get some dodge going. First of all, let's see how effective this is, because this fight can be fairly difficult. Thanks to the necklace, we're at least reasonably okay here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to try to speed our way through this, so dodge is not doing the trick. We don't have access to a heal as of yet. Technically, I can switch him out for a different class here. Okay, let's see. But breached, we can weaken him a little bit. Weaken is probably a good call because we can get our finisher first. All you really have to do is knock him down to critical. So what we're going to do, we're going to run backwards here. Force him to take a frontal hit, and we didn't roll the dodge. That's a bit of a shame. Alright, now how are we doing on finishers? Not quite there yet, but we don't have any healing leaves either, so that's not really going to do the trick, is it? Okay. So, what else do we have available here? He's very resistant to casts, so that's not going to do it. We've got a major heal. I might as well use that, because, again, he's the one I was going to eventually use it on anyway. So we'll go ahead and use that. Come on, roll the dodge, and he did not roll the dodge. That is a shame. Now, if... okay, so we know that we can make it up to this point. The finisher is not going to be enough to do the job as it is right here. So we can already call this one completely scuffed, because he's going to have his finisher next, and we'll go ahead and just bow out of that. So, would you like to say progress? No. Would you like to return to the title screen? Yes. So, what we know from this is that, yeah, our basic attack is not going to be doing the trick, so we're not really getting past damage threshold normally. However, that doesn't mean that we are screwed as of yet. Oh, hello there, McDonald's app. That's nice. Apparently you can... Apparently it's National Coke Day. Good for you. Alright. So, what we need is the finisher, but we also need access to a shield. So let's go ahead and give Buckler and Shield a go. Now, we've got a Tower Shield available. Do we have any classes that can use it? No. Let's do Resist Sleep. I don't think he has any sleep moves, but an Aspis is what I'd want for this anyway. What can he be? He can be a Terror Knight. Now, he hasn't spent those points yet, so... Hear me out. We're going to go Terror Knight if we can. Okay, we don't have access to Knight, but we do have access to Berserker. Actually, it's... Wow. That's a pretty significant jump in defense, actually, so we're going to replace the Berserker. Berserker's going to go become something else later. We still have access to all of our same skills. What do we get out of this? We can get another skill slot. Constitution might not be a bad idea. Dodge might not be a bad idea. Fortify might not be a bad idea. So we can roll Fortify here as just kind of a first idea. We're going to replace Teratology for the purposes of this fight. We can replace Recruit with Counterattack. Alright. So I've got Pelta on him. Actually, we can get that one. Who's got them shields? Who has the second Aspice? I want it. Alright, Fulkert. That's nice. Gimme. Give me the gear. Alright. So yeah, this will give us a decent strength bonus, the somewhat minor avoidance bonus, and that's probably going to be overall best in slot for most stuff, so to speak. I mean, best in slot doesn't really apply to this game too much in a lot of cases, but I feel like that'll probably do it. Let's give this a go, see how it works. It's a nice thing about this fight that it is a 1v1, so you can kind of puzzle it out pretty quick without having to invest too much time into it. But this is specifically one of the reasons that I picked this route, because this route has two of the major things that I've seen folks complain about before. And we'll actually go back and do other ones at another point. And you might say, wait a minute, why don't you go back and, you know, do alternate chapters right now while you're still at the right level for them? Right, we're in world mode. We're in world mode at the moment. It'll scale up wherever we're at anyway, so it's just more convenient to do it this way right now. So what I'm thinking is, once we get to Chapter 3 here, we'll have a few more options available, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Okay, first things first, Breach. Now, what I want is to force him to move as much as possible. Because if we take a look at his class here, he's going to be relatively quick. Yeah, 83 is kind of nuts, but anyway. So, comparing our stats, we have 6 less vitality, we have 8 more strength, so physically we're not terribly far apart. He's just going to be running some better stuff here. He's got rank 2 daggers and anatomy. We're not very different, like I said. He's got death proof, so he's going to be immune to a lot of things. He's got sneak attack, sidestep, true strike, and fortify. So if we get dodge, then we'd be able to make use of the dodge buff, because we'd be countering his true strike. He's got... Does he actually have strengthen? Weirdly enough, he does not seem to have strengthen. How's our dex compare, out of curiosity? He has 22 more dex than we do. That is why that dagger's going so nutso right now. So yeah, that dagger does not... It does not believe in defense. So, yeah, that's a pretty unfortunate amount of damage coming out of him. But that's alright. Let's see what we can do. So we'll just go ahead and... Where's the thing? Major heal. So the best way to do this, as far as I see it, is there's a... Well, it's going to be a two-step process. He's going to go over here, he's going to try to take some hits. We're going to throw those out there. We're going to throw a finisher out there. If we can survive to do 2 finishers and then push him off of that ledge over there on the right, then we might have some options. In this particular case, it doesn't seem like he wants to believe in that very much, so that's all well and good. True strike. I mean, we can make true strike happen. It's just not really going to... You know, I'm ignoring something very obvious here. It's actually something I already discussed, so we're going to go ahead and just wait our turn here. Okay, so that's going to give us a finisher. Now then. So that's only going to do 7, okay? That's not very much. Fine, whatever. He's going to go ahead and take a Mend Leaf, apparently. He's going to run around the side. But what I want to do is going to be incredibly dumb-looking if we can make it happen. Alright, he's rolled 1 less health this time, strangely. Looks like we've got average attack here. Okie doke. Do all that kind of thing. Go over here, set up the dodge again. As you do. I mean, it's funny because it's kind of amazing how easy this would be with some slight differences. Like if I was 1 level higher and I had access to all that boulder stuff that we've got sitting around, easy, completely easy. If we had, well, hell, if we hadn't bought Subdue, we could just pick up an extra extra skill slot, pick up daggers, and at that point that would just reduce his remaining, well, it would reduce his damage overall pretty significantly. The problem is with combining it with the other 3 skills I needed to get to make this setup happen, equipping daggers just wasn't really going to be a thing. Because this dodge setup, it doesn't seem like it's doing very much, but if we can roll the dodge on his finisher, that's essentially all we need to make this happen. Because that's essentially the equivalent of 1 extra heal, that is the equivalent of 1 extra turn, meaning that this can finally be done and over with. And if you could go ahead and not roll crits all the time and roll blocks all the time, that'd be amazing! Because boy, oh boy, that crap gets annoying. Alright. Take your swings. Face this way, and he goes and takes the intentionally less accurate hit for unknown reasons. Rolls yet another parry, because of course he does. Alright. Why on earth am I playing the weirdest parts of the AC2 soundtrack here? Alright, yeah, I screwed that one up. We still might be able to dodge his second one, possibly. Oh, yeah, you're just gonna crit on top of that, are you? Oh, this guy. This guy, I swear. Oh, and he's gonna roll double crits, yeah? And never get knocked back, huh? That's what we're doing, right? Oh my goodness. Who made you? You're an abomination, dude. Alright, so, at this point we've got him down to 70. All we need is for him to get crit off this cliff here and we're good. If he gets crit off the cliff, we... Oh. Oh, there we go. There you go. So, basically that's all that was needed. You don't even need to dodge the finisher. What was I talking about? Anyway... You know, babysitter Lennar comes in and decides to deal with all the ruckus, as the kids happily abide. But he's as good as dead. See, the funny part is, under normal circumstances, yes. With that tile layout, that's not guaranteed. Anyway, circumstances changed. Man, he would feel so dumb coming into this whole situation. Like, oh man, stop you guys. Oh, he's already splattered on the floor. Alright. Yep. Appreciate how terse they are on this. Now, under normal circumstances, I prefer the neutral route here. Alright, it is by far my favorite route. I think it makes the most sense. Because, okay, like, Lennar as a character is really weird because they're pretty much going to be winding up as the bad guy no matter what. But just the fact that they have this particular route that they can go on where it's like, you know, kind of a redemption arc, more or less, where you can kind of see what they're going for way more often on the neutral route. Wherein he's basically saying, like, you know, look, I'm only here trying to keep this particular little duchy of ours going. You know, I really don't care who's on what side. We're just trying to keep this machine running. So, by the way, funny note, for those who didn't see the interview, apparently Matsuno saw himself as Lennar in the story. Anyway, so yeah, normally I would go for 1, but, you know, in this case, we're going for Chaos because we have to do Cressida under this rule set as well. No, you're no different from the Bakram. Wrong. They are way more broke. Yeah, you know, maybe don't talk about the whole you're beaten thing. We're not really looking so great right now. Honestly, good on Lennar for letting him leave at this point. Because, yeah, there's 100% no reason for him to do so. Aside from the fact that they've got a matching haircut. Alright. Why do you fight when I have us? Well, because there's progress to be made, that's why. It's like, okay, I guess we'll just throw our entire plan out the window. Pretty sure Leonard just hates Vyce. When your hope has died, come back. I love that line. You'll wait a long time. It'll have to be until we try Palace of the Dead under this rule set. That's true. He will try to. Anyway, there we go. Yeah, I couldn't end it last time on, you know, the note that it ended on. And, of course, Vyce decides to go all murder mode. Yeah, on neutral, he just attempts to do that and gets himself hung off screen. It's, which, by the way, weird note, is kind of neither here nor there, but it always kind of weirded me out that, like, for hanging and stuff like that, the vocabulary was different. That if, you know, if something is hung on a wall, it's hung there. If somebody, you know, gets, you know, taken out in that manner, then they are considered hanged. So there we go. You have Gildas just kind of passed out on the ground. And by the way, the reason that we're not doing music off the system for this, the music in the cutscene sections here actually does piss off the algorithm or the system or whatever the hell. YouTube sends me an angry email, basically, to not do copyrighty stuff. They're like, oh, the Square Enix lawyers are coming for you. You touched their music slightly. I'm like, no, I just want to show off their cool game, though. But, you know, what can you do? So, then more wars happen. Alright. So, that'll be that for this one. We're officially in Chapter 3, and then, you know, in the next part, we're going to be doing more stuff, as you'd expect. And Chapter 3, though, this is going to open up a lot. You do tend to get a lot more options, a lot more drops, a lot more of that kind of thing. Of course, difficulty ramps up as well, but yeah, Vyce, Chaos Vyce is a real pain in the behind, you know. The dude's just a real douche, is the thing. And alright. Anyway, so I gotta get going here. Kind of ran out of time a second time in this particular bit. I'm pretty sure everyone's seen the Chapter 3 transition if they're watching this. And, yes, dogs and swine serve. I mean, the swine don't really serve much, do they? They just sort of get eaten. And then Barbas gets told off, and, yeah, he just keeps trying to deny the fact that he was there to fight dudes. And then next is going to be the Golem fight. Like, oh, didn't do this to be mad at the Duke. Kind of, I mean, you kind of did, though. Filthy liar. Okay. We're probably going to leave him as Berserker, though. So yeah, we're going to continue on with this next time. You guys have a good one. Take care, and thank you for watching.